Welcome back to Counterpoint. I'm joined by Gleb Lisikh, C2C author, from the C2C author journal author rather, and we're discussing the lies that potentially AI is telling us and where we're catching it. Is it reasonable? Can it reason? And what does it do when we catch it in a lie? So, Gleb, thank you again for joining me. So, just before we cut to commercial break, we were discussing this exact point. What happens when you catch AI in a lie, in a complete fabrication, and you challenge the AI? What does it come back to you with?
Yeah, just to continue on my example. So when I asked the DeepSeek on this particular case what examples he has, what kind of best studies it can present to prove the systemic racial discrimination, it came up with just a totally bogus study. And not just one, but several, or made some big claims about big numbers of disparities. So when I pressed that's AI on the issue of give me the source of the study and blah blah blah, and it basically just said sorry, it was fabricated, right?
That's crazy because
So
I
that
know a lot of university students are relying on AI technology for better or worse. And so some of their research, if they're using AI, could be completely bogus, like completely made up. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the AI produces those bogus studies or bogus legal cases. There are lots of stories out there when people use AI, generative AI, without any second thought or just trust it blindly, right? They end up in a deep trouble. Like the students will end up with bogus quotes from bogus books, or, as in my case, I was facing a totally bogus research that proves allegedly systemic racism. So, yeah, there's no shortage in the technical AI field. There's no shortage of proof and research about lying and skimming AI. What bothers me is that the companies that sell AI, they don't really they muffle it down and they market AI as smart. So
Hmm.
what's smart is very loose, and it's very misleading to say the least.
Well, you're right, especially when we see a lot of companies are trying to integrate AI technology, and these companies might be healthcare companies or work in law or finance. What risks are posed when we are integrating AI into those sectors?
Well, the risk are obvious uh, in those sectors when the AI gets integrated. The problem is that backwards reasoning of AI, where the AI justifies the answer as opposed to arrives to the answer through logical conclusion, that results in a persuasion. And the persuasion with the modern AI, as powerful as it is very powerful too.
Hmm.
So the response, like in ChatGPT circa 2023, like if it spits out some nonsense, you can clearly see it. Nowadays, if DeepSeek, Gemini, ChatGPT spits out nonsense, that nonsense doesn't come across as nonsense, and it's very, very sophisticatedly argued for, right? So the deliberation of the AI to convince you in that nonsensical answer or that plausibly sounding answer is very, very convincing. So the AI has grown from just a nonsense spitting machine into a professional bigot, as I call it.
Oh my goodness. Is this what you mean by AI hallucinations? You referenced this term.
The hallucinations were before very obvious, right? You could see that the hallucination is actually a technical term of this area, right? So when AI somehow through the neural network patterns arrive at some nonsensical answer, it used to be very vivid, right? Nowadays, those hallucinations very very plausibly sounding, as I mentioned before, and very well articulated for that's not the most dangerous thing. The most dangerous thing is when people trust that hallucination, and I use it as a loose term, hallucination,
Right.
right? But when they trust it and they get convinced that it's true through careful persuasion.
Okay, we're going to be right back in just a moment.